I think I might have to go try to catch Ezra, or I might never actually catch him. I might never find him at random. Ah, he's running around behind. I don't think you can actually interact with Ezra. Just kind of running around. Having a time. Hello. Happy to be in the here and now? I heard a shuffling. Are you dragging your feet or just enjoying the sand between your toes? Deep in thought, I guess. Well, I think you have something weighing on you. And I respect that enough not to press the subject. We're also being pressured to talk about our problems. We're always being pressured to talk about our problems. It's all over the radio and the self-help section of the bookstore, but my ethos is to just sit with it, alone, inside of yourself. My spiritual advisor says, if something is boring after 2 minutes, try it for 4. And I think that applies to any other dissatisfaction just as well. No. The initial advice might be interesting. If this is boring for 2 minutes, then try it for 4. So like if something's boring for this amount of time, try spending twice as much time with it. Because maybe you have some kind of breakthrough or you're gaining some kind of weird appreciation for it, to learn something about it or yourself. But no, if you got problems, you don't want to just sit there and just, as an experiment, just spend more time with the problem and just hang out. Just let it fester for twice as long. I wanted to ask you something. I thought of it earlier, but it didn't seem like the right time. I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. You wanted to ask me about my friend, the old man. Oh, no, I think I read him pretty clearly. He's an outwards reflecting kind of person. I mean, he reflects the world back out, largely uncolored. You and we are inward reflecting, I think. It means we prefer to nurture the best and worst of ourselves in quiet and interior spaces. And that's okay. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not so sure, actually. Ah, I'll be damned. Oh. Okay. He just didn't ask the question. I guess you had to remind him he was even asking a question in the first place. Shannon pulls a feather from the sand and brushes it clean. When she was a child, she collected feathers. Not the way a hobbyist collects trinkets, but the way a clump of dust collects more dust by static electricity. She deposited them on the kitchen table at the end of the day. Weaver's mother said it was unhygienic. Shannon's mother said that it was American germaphobe bullshit and put them in a vase. She'd just get covered in feathers and just bury and just leave them everywhere. So it's been a while since we established this. I'm trying to remember. Like, I guess so. Weaver and Shannon were stepsisters, I think. Didn't I think their parents were 2 women that married or something. An untouched drink sits on a table, forgotten and abandoned, or simply wasted. There she is. You have to try one of these flower drinks. I feel like I could drink 100 of them. Not too sweet, not too strong, you know? A real session drink. I don't like that thought at all. This is a drink I could just keep drinking forever, an endless binge. Unless it's water, there's basically no drinks on the planet that's good for in any case. But alcohol is just straight up like a problem. And having a term for it is just concerning. It's destructive behavior. We'll be scraping you off the beach. Nah, it's not one of those. Not one of those really strong drinks. Just sort of. Oh yeah, that's what mixed drinks are known for, is not being strong. It doesn't taste like a flower, I mean. Not like a flower smells, you know. Perfumed, stickly sweet. Like a star thistle flower. One of my first long haul gigs ended in a crash, did I tell you that? It wasn't so bad, actually. I swerved to dodge some stray cattle, hit a stump on the side of the road, and flipped the trailer. The whole rig went twisting out down into a muddy ditch. It was spring, and I blacked out. I don't think I hit anything. It was just the shock of it. Or maybe my brain bounced against the inside of my skull or something. Anyway, I woke up and I'd been thrown clear. Never worn a seatbelt since. Oh, why'd I bring that up? Star thistle. I woke up in a field of star thistle. The first thing I thought was, what are all these damn ugly flowers? More old stuff. I'm drowning in old stuff tonight. Feels like I've got it piled up all around me. Like one of those old men you hear about who never threw anything away. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe you should slow down. Oh no, I don't think so. In fact, I could use a few more of these. Just take a book of matches to the room. That should clear everything right up. Know what I mean? Sorry, I'm not making sense, am I? I just mean to say, I can't look at anything without remembering something else. And then that reminds me of something else, and I'm buried in it. I just need to get my head clear for a minute, get a clear view of the day, get oriented. There was a time when I felt this way. I'd bite the bullet, try to sober up and get a job. Is that why you're going to work for the distillery? Maybe it is. Seems like a pretty simple answer, right? Just follow the work as long as you can. Huh. Maybe you got me figured all out. Anyway, I'm gonna sit, look at the water for a minute. I'll talk to you later. Don't be a stranger. Conway. You need to stop drinking. We already knew you had a problem. At first, Shannon mistakes the iridescent glimmer for a seashell washed up from the lake. Maybe some fresh water relative of the abalone. Or even a pearl. But it's only a trading card. It must have been valuable to someone, or it wouldn't have been printed on this lustrous material. Whatever was on it has mostly worn away. All that's left is the shiny backing and the words "Gleaners" forward. Unfortunately, people that go through drug rehab and AA and so on have a huge percentage chance of relapsing. That's just part of the process with an addict, is that they go through stages of quitting and then unquitting over and over again, and you hope that they win out in the end, but they pretty much never win the first time. Although and that's what he referred to, because he says that he quits and unquits, and he's done it over and over again. That's a bummer. It sounded like when Lysette's son died, he was in the middle of that situation too. Same thing goes for prison. People get out, and what was it, like a 75% reconviction rate or something like that? It's like an insane, terrifying number. You like to think, we like to put clean narratives on things. Like you just go to rehab and now you're better or whatever. Like you serve your time and vice versa. But almost nothing ever really works that cleanly. All of our solutions are mostly solutions on paper. Hey, do you hear that? The ice caps are melting. I mean the polar ice caps, the ones all the way at the top. Don't listen to him, hon. He's all doom and gloom tonight. Don't listen, that's the answer. That's the answer, Don. Well, what else can you do? Some days, all of this will be underwater. We'll all be drowned. What can you do? Maybe it's better that way. Great, another pessimist. You two have fun, I'll be drowning in this Mai Tai. He's just in a dark mood because the bar is crowded tonight. He likes to spread out. You know toxic runoff has decimated the deer population, right? Oh no. That's what they said in a recent study anyway, and I believe them. Acid rain, you know, useless any day now. Sure. I heard it in a recent study. So I take it as gospel. Worthless gospel, but gospel nonetheless. Yeah, I'm trying not to think about it. Everyone should be. I heard it in a recent study, so I take it as gospel. Worthless gospel, but gospel nonetheless. Oh, it's the reality. You find out about these massive sweeping problems in the world, and you educate yourself for days or weeks or years or whatever, and then you're like, cool, now I know a bunch of stuff about how fucked we are. And what the fuck do I do about it? Like, oh wow, it's not like taking a hold of your personal health and making healthier choices and turning your life around. It's like, well, it's the health of the planet or any other large problem. You're like, but I am not positioned to forget solving the problem. I'm not even positioned in most cases to influence the problem. Is what most people will realize. They're like, what the fuck do I even do? It's like, man, I should try to take one less trip to the store each week in my car. That'll save the world. It's definitely not like the massive corporations that control the vast majority of the resources and almost every single source of pollutant and problem, and they all are actively causing these problems and have known about it for decades while actively campaigning and lobbying to hide this information and make it unpopular to believe in and so on. But like they literally, the very same people that are pretending that these problems don't exist or aren't as bad as they are said to be, or that they're not responsible for them or whatever, those very people had their own internal people do research in like the 80s and even earlier in many cases about what impact they were going to have on the world in a negative way. And they fully researched all that information, and then they just kept going because they decided they didn't give a shit. Because like, well, fixing this would be less profitable, and the health of the world is not really a profit incentive. It's not really rewarded under capitalism. And so if you rely entirely under the market to solve things, then you're going to quickly find out the market doesn't do a whole lot, and you end up basically being the "This Is Fine" dog by Casey Green. This is fine. Sonny, you're insufferable. Damn, I just got owned by Don. Toxic runoff. That's his latest rant. But I'm not surprised by anything anymore. Before this, it was bovine growth hormones and global warming. Nah, he's harmless. I just don't know him anymore, that's all. He takes bits and pieces of things he reads and synthesizes them all into some grand theory, and it's always the end of the world. But who could know that stuff, right? We can't even predict the weather. I mean, if you could take all these little pieces and predict how they're all going to interact, well, you'd know everything. It's kind of anti-intellectual as an argument, isn't it? This whole idea of like, well, who really knows anyway? It's like, I mean, on the global warming topic, yeah, the information's there. It's in many cases frequently synthesized down to being communicated in ways that everyone can understand if they just take a moment to look at it. So even if he's on some kind of conspiracy kick of always having a thing he's apocalypsizing about, catastrophizing about, I guess is what I was thinking of saying. That one's definitely right. And he's right to be concerned about it, even though what the fuck do you do about it is definitely who knows. On one hand, maybe her refusal to engage with these ideas is why there's distance between them now. But on the other hand, it might just be the exhaustion of it. Well, like maybe she's already kind of accepted. Like, it's not that these things are wrong, it's just that there's nothing you can do about it. And the constant stress of thinking about it all the time and talking about it all the time mostly just makes the day-to-day less happy. Although she kind of just seems dismissive about the ideas entirely. But at the same time, I've definitely seen like older men just kind of like spiral, obsessing over things that like Facebook serves up to them, and then just having like their weekly craze of like this thing that they're mad about that they only half understand. I'll tell you what I do with that kind of knowledge. When I first met a man, I'd look at his shoes and the kind of books he read and what he eats for breakfast, and I'd make damn sure we weren't doomed to spend our twilight years greedily emptying Mai Tais and arguing about toxic runoff. Well, you know what they say about hindsight? Here's to a better yesterday. Wow, you're really bitter about this relationship. You don't have to stay in it, if that's how you really feel. Junebug. Guess who I just saw like an hour ago? I don't even care. How are you, Patch? Aw, man, you know. Carl had that gig for a minute at the sweater shop, but they went out of business. If our numbers were better there, he could just work on his record and it'd be fine, but you know how it is. For now, he's selling flowers in the rivers. Say hi if you pass him. Hey, any of your friends want a drink? I've got time. Busy night, but everyone's deep in their straws by now. Why so busy? It's these kooks from upriver. They all came in together. I think it's some kind of work thing. They're nice enough, but you know, I've got to keep an eye out for lightweights trying to swim home or something. I don't have that kind of insurance. Anyway, I don't mind them, but you know how territorial Don and Sonny get after a couple of Mai Tais. Speaking of which, what have you been mixing up? Let's see. What's good tonight? Old Nose? What's that like? Chill a tall glass with a little blue curacao at the bottom. Then keep pouring in spiced rum till it starts to turn brownish. Add pineapple juice, sugar, and grapefruit juice. Some folks like orange curacao. I always include the little umbrella. What else you got? Old and fragrant? What's that like? 1 shot dark rum, 2 shots blue rum, blue curacao, pour over ice, throw a plastic skull on top. Why not? What else you got? Blue strong tiki? What's that like? 1 shot light rum, 2 shots white rum, blue curacao blend. Throw a maraschino cherry on top. You can't even ask for a drink, you just keep asking what they are, basically. What else you got? Salty cocktail on the captain? What's that like? Yeah, no drinks for us, thanks. She's clearly not going to order anything. No problem, see you around. I don't know if they drink. How do you guys work? But if they do drink, you think people would know? I mean, if they don't drink? Phone call. Hello? Joe? This is Joe. I got some log updates. 189626198 Laundry, Freddy, 5-6 miles. I think you have the wrong number. What? Who? Caller hangs up. Is caller different from Joe? What? What? That was weird. Achievement unlocked. Patch speaking. Answered the phone in the rum colony. I got an I didn't even do it. Why did I get an achievement? Again? Yellow. Yeah, let me talk to Drew, please. What does Drew look like? Kind of plump cheek, but not obscenely so. Pfft. A person of many talents. You can tell immediately. I don't see anyone like that. Did you check the stairwell, though? Drew sometimes sits over by the stairwell. No stairs, no stairwell, my friend. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How do you get up there, then? Huh? We're right on the ground. I mean, up from the ground. Why are you being so dense? I'm just looking for Drew. Hey, man, I got other things to do. When you see Drew, just say I called, alright? This poor man. Everyone's just driving him crazy. I am so glad to see you. These kooks are bumming me out, man. See that guy in the sand over there? He rolled up kind of off center, you know, kind of leaning on that stage here, and he was like, "What kind of strings are those, steel or nylon?" Oh, he's just drunk. Oh, believe me, I know. You gotta be cool about it, though. Or just get a drink and stay in your chair. Man. If you're gonna drink like that, just drink. I mean, don't make it my problem. Hey, how's that new tape going? Oh yeah, it's good, man. I mean, it's okay. Everything's recorded, but I still want to do another pass on it. And maybe work on the mix? But it's no rush on that. Because I don't have the cash for blank tapes right now anyway. Patch threw me some bookings, so I'm trying to fund it with tips, but, you know, we're all paying a premium for blank media these days. Everyone's afraid we're dubbing garbage off the radio, so they only sell blank tapes in pallets or overpriced 3-packs. Totally cut out the small labels and self-publishers. Crystal and Gordon are just recording over old tapes for their new one. Can you believe that? It saves some cash, I guess, but you're always going to have old frequencies bleeding through. It's just chemistry, man. Hey, speaking of which, I'm about mid-set here. Can you take the can around while I play the next one? It's on the tape. I think you'll like it, man. Thanks. I'm here to collect collections. She didn't have to do that. Had to hurt. But that's the way it goes. The unsteady steadying of the steady. The unsteady steadying the unsteady. There's probably a $5 bill somewhere just floating up and down the river from tip jar to musician to tip jar to musician like an eternal ferry of good intentions. Shannon gave $5. She would tip, wouldn't she? Whoop. These two are pretty reliable. Where's their money come from anyway? Government check, maybe? Nah. They'd only tip like that on the 1st and the 15th. Maybe they fence stereos or something. Over here judging the people that give money, huh? Oh, dude, he hauls ass on the beach. Ooh. These kooks are really going for it. It's good. You can't always hope for much with these fly-by-night crowds. Could have been some deep tiki fanatics getting uptight about Cyrano's tape machine or something, but these folks are tourists wherever they go. In his own little orbit, he ought to stop and think about who's creating all that atmosphere. They think it's natural or something, like it's just what this place sounds like, a cheap illusion. He's way gone, reflecting, or pretending he doesn't see the tip jar. What a take on the idea. People like this show up and just think this place sounds like this naturally. This guy's barely here. He's like basically sugary wet sand until the morning. He left a couple of bucks on his shoes here, or dropped it. That's probably for the band, if it's for anything at all. Maybe we just robbed him. It's $2, who cares? Will never has any money. Good for him. He just doesn't have money as a concept. All he has is a boat and no shoes. Conway! This guy's keeping some odd company tonight. Better just let him be. Oh, we just didn't ask him for money, did we? It's just $10 just sitting out here? Someone left a 20 here. Is that for Patch or Cyrano? Maybe there's enough change in the jar to split it. That's only fair. Because we have no idea who the tip is for. We're just gonna go ahead and decide it's for both of them. I suppose that's fair, in a way. It might make sense to bias in favor of the person whose business this is, as opposed to the person who's happening to perform, which is admittedly less of a thing than the establishment being open in the first place. But I think that as people that do gig music, as a gig musician, I think he might be biased in favor of the musician. So an even split makes sense. There's like a musical rhythm to hearing their weird machine walking. I wonder if we'll ever invert. We have all of these paper lanterns, but none of them are lit. Yeah, listen, we got a problem down here. Who is this? Man, it's all messed up. I tried realigning that big sewer grate under the livestock pen like you said, right? Who is this? Damn thing flooded, man. It's worse than ever before. All I'm saying is, we gotta get those computers out of here. Who is this? I've been running out of time here, man. Hey, I forgot. Does that big green valve dump water or sewage? You told me earlier, but I've been so stressed out I just kind of flew out of my mind. So should I turn that valve? Patch, don't give him an answer. Oh god. I feel like we're talking to a character from Infra right now. Yes. Alright, you're the boss. Oh no, we'll never know what happened. Oh my god. Oh, I'm Shannon now. It's remarkable how you just casually switch characters like that. Like within one scene, you're Shannon and you're Johnny and you're the bartender. I think that's it. Basically. Oh yeah, Johnny's back down here. That was them up there before too, right? Well, that was a pleasant detour. Yes, ma'am. Ready to get moving? How about you round up the old man, if you can tear him free? Yeah, you're right about that. I never quite thought of it that way. Who are you talking to? Oh. Nah, it's nothing. Hey, let me get out of here. Work to be done, right? Was he talking to the invisible skeletons right there in that scene? If only she had her little signal transmitter thing.